Hello everyone. It's been a while since I posted a video, but I have big news today. As you are probably well aware from reading the title of this video, I am going to be hosting an absolutely massive tournament in Pro that will start in 2022. The prizes are going to be shown in this video alphabetically, going through my boxes, so you can look for the mons you're interested in. This seems like a nice compromise compared to making an Excel for days, so I hope this is fine with you. Plus, is it really that hard to watch a video? I sure hope not. This video will have 24 boxes of rewards. Plus, as you can see in the bottom left, I have a 30 mil prize pool as well that I'm going to add. That means every single participant in my tournament, up to 360 players if you're doing math. I doubt you are, you're a pro player. But 360 players will get a reward that they can choose based on how they place in my event. Now, before I talk more about my tournament here, I think it's fair with a reward that's probably the biggest pro has ever seen so far that I share some of my thoughts and what has led to this point of me, as well as a legend like Celestic, donating our entire wealth to this. I gotta say, I'm really disappointed with a lot of things about Pro. Wally's no stranger to my criticism since my time in and out of staff, but I'm even more disappointed, I think, with the community in general. Pro is by far the best Pokemon game that has ever existed, and that includes the garbage Game Freak puts out every year now. But that's still a very low bar of accomplishment to be the best Pokemon game, and this game easily could be way better. It shows so much potential, honestly, and it just doesn't make sense to me. The only issue is that nobody holds Wally more accountable. And I shouldn't say that's the only issue, but it's what I see being oftentimes the biggest problem. You know, you don't hold him accountable for his actions, and I don't blame him more than I do the player base for this reason. I've tried to promote the idea of being able to like a game but still be critical of it. But it seems most others do not share this vision of being able to talk bad about a game they like. It kind of makes no sense to me. Wally will claim, if he even were to respond to this, that he's listened, which is just a lie. The only time he's ever bothered to talk to me directly about anything was pretty childish, honestly. He tried to state how I have only crazy ideas, and then he only listed ideas that I've told privately to the CS lead of this game, the content scripter, in case you don't know what that means. When I talk to the CS lead, normally I like to, have bold ideas and I mention these things to him. And if he wants to bring them up to his, Wally or in his own channels, that's his choice. I have no problem with that. I would love to help promote that kind of stuff. But by no means is the stuff that I provide to this person meant to be the only ideas that Wally should be reading, because it clearly shows how just out of touch he is. He's never bothered to read anything I have said, if it, unless it was someone else saying it, of course, from what it appears. I'll give credit where credit is due. This game, in terms of PvP, is in a beautiful place. It seems to be getting better and better every day, especially with this new introduction to UU tier. Honestly, I'll give, hands down, that's props there. My problem is that I have Showdown for PvP already, and this game lacks in every other department, which is what I want to play it for. Being around for this long, and having to still ask, Wally or CS Lee or anyone, honestly, to add something as simple as a way to get more Salac berries, for instance, is just ridiculous. And then there's just so much other content that I'll mention a little bit later, but just to get off the rabbit trail or down the rabbit hole. While I was a story writer for this game, I could barely offer anything to you guys, anything interesting, because the events are just the same dead end story every year. And this game lacks in just so many aspects that I've tried to offer help in. I'm not saying my way is the right way, and I tend to try to avoid injecting the correct decision I think of to others unless it's so painfully obvious to be better. I want them to kind of come up with their own solutions. If it's bad, you just tell them, yeah, this doesn't work for X, Y, Z reason. When Battle Bond Greninja was suggested by Wally, not suggested, he was basically just going to do it. we all told him it was a bad idea. And yeah, well, that was just a mess, a complete, utter mess. And that's one of the easier things to mess up, but that's easy to also fix. But there's so many things in this game that need fixing, like the reason why can't you play more accounts? And it's because the way it's designed is, it's abusive to have more accounts. I could go on this topic all day about how staff and player relations is bad, and attempts to try and their attempts to try and communicate are just not good. Like when they make a forum post for feedback and it just turns into a fiesta. They just aren't in touch with the players of this game. And, if you try to suggest that maybe they need help from people who actually play their game, they don't like it. Estrella as well, just an enormous waste of staff resources for little content return. So, I've already gone on enough about this, I think, and if I'm being honest, I do not want to waste any more time on something like this, so I'll stop here. This video is supposed to be for the joy and happiness of the game, and I just wanted to, I just felt like I should be at least allowed to, air some of my grievances. But, I don't want to talk down about this game anymore. It's still a pretty good game, despite all the things I've mentioned. So let's talk about the tournament. This tournament is meant to be generally a level playing field for the PvE and PvP player base. Now, you'll be battling in a little cup format for Gen 6. This includes its rules and banned mons, and there'll be more to come in my Discord rules announcements about this. This should help ensure that, the main PvPers of this game, they're not in the most familiar situations. Sure, they may be good at PvP, but, some of the things that they've memorized while they do regular PvP is not going to be the same in this format. The second thing is, even though we are playing on Showdown, all Pokemon you will use, they have to be hunted in the wild of Pro, and there will be some exceptions some exceptions and other things I need to note. If you hate hunting, the good news is that Little Cup Mons, their IVs barely affect stats very oftentimes. You need I think most of the time 31 will be a stat change, although I think there are some cases for 30. I don't know 100% because this isn't my wheelhouse when it comes to PvPing. But, there's some Pokemon where you could literally go from an IV of 2 all the way to 30 and see no difference. So this should really help a lot, I feel like. The other thing that should help is that, I will be allowing one stat for any, whenever you catch a Pokemon, you can choose one stat to be maxed out on a Pokemon. This should also help you, ease the burden of hunting slightly. Lastly, to avoid people getting destroyed by the few lucky people able to hunt, an S-tier Pokemon for this tournament, like a Mienfoo or something, there will be one Pokemon you can freely add to your Showdown team that does not need to be hunting. You'll get to choose one of your choosing. So if you want Ponyard, Mienfoo, oh god, I forget the name of the one that Conkeldurr comes from, but all of these. I think it's Timber. There we go. So anyways, this should help ensure that PvP players are not going to just completely take over this event, but without they'll have to put effort at least into it, so if they want to completely take over, like any of you. Now, the next thing I want to note is that some of you may have fears that if this tour is massive, as I plan to advertise it to be, and hope it will be, that it'll be a nightmare like every official Pro Tour that staff host. While I cannot guarantee you that I have the answers to host something better than Kata, like I said, I will never suggest that I know the correct answer. I just, have my ideas about how to do something better. Now, luckily, I've played this game. I've participated in tournaments, unlike Wally and Kata, and while also having hosting experience in other games. So I'll share with you what I plan to do, and why I plan to do it this way, because I know plenty of people will take issue with my method. Let me start by saying I absolutely hate the one opponent a week nonsense that we have grown accustomed to in Pro. It's become this way because so many people cry like little babies about their schedule and blah, blah, blah. I'll say right now that a big tour needs to go faster than the snail's pace we currently see. And I know it is possible when people are enthusiastic about participating in a tournament. Anyone who's played a Showdown tour knows that without any reward, people play like they just play there, multiple large brackets completed every single day because they want to. I would hope that this tournament can have a similar enthusiasm, considering 360 players will get something for their time in all this. Even if you coin flipped your way through by accident somehow, you like started from the beginning and then, somehow just everyone else coin flipped with you and you made it through, you'll still get a reward. Whatever, if that happens, it happens. At that point, it's just a raffle. But with that said, you'll have to fight at least 2 or more opponents a week based on the participating numbers. The way I'll make this work, it's still being decided whether, I have ideas for like a queue system that might have a Discord bot, where you can enter a queue, hopefully not be seen by other people entering a queue because that has issues. I'm working these things out. But you could enter a queue. Other people can enter a queue. So based on your schedule and other people's schedule, you can get into battles. And if you have to only do like 2 or 3 battles a week, you do your battles. If you lose, I think it'll be like a double elimination in that kind of format until bracket stage. So if you lose twice during this queuing system, then you're out of the tournament. Other ideas I've come up with is that, we can start with a bracket from the beginning, and I could have 2, 4, 8, multiples of 2s brackets where it's based on time zones. This would allow it to be where, I think the pro tournament, this last pro tournament did it similarly in the beginning. I can't quite recall, though. It's been a while since I've really cared about anything for this game. But this should, alleviate any excuses that it's not the same, you're not this, you're not around the same time your opponent is. I really don't care for these excuses. Because I'm weighing all these options for a good, no-excuse tournament that will last exactly how long I tell you it does. The last few things I'll mention here are that I'll require a certain number of hours on the account entering the tournament, so that I limit as many spam alts and random Andes as possible from devaluing the tour. I reserve the right to tell specific people that they cannot be in my tour for any reason I choose. Whether I do not like you, so, Golden Pikachu, you don't have to apply, thank you, save yourself the time. Or if you're like a known cheater or booster of players, so Than, you can also just, save yourself the trouble from entering my tournament. All other information will be posted in my YouTube Discord that you can join, it's in the description. And, there will also be a forum post for this tournament, you can find the information there, and I'll probably have the Discord also linked there. So any other rules or anything else you need to read, it'll be there. So just make sure you go to my Discord so you can actually participate. And thank you if you watch this video all the way through, including the ranting. I appreciate it, guys, and have a good day, everyone.